conformist we were looking at yesterday, that was very unexpected, I'll say. Definitely very unexpected what conformist was able to do yesterday. Like, we started yesterday, I remember I was live, and it was around, yeah, right here. Yesterday it was at 115, ended the day 10 cents up. It was insane. I was just like, what? How? It's been going up a lot every single day. This is such a nice swing play right here that could have been made had I picked it up at under $1 and then at 124 today. Like, that's really amazing. I want to see if it keeps going up. I'm not sure if I want to pick it up at 124. I might, but that's pretty nice. Today we're also watching a couple more biotech pharmaceutical stocks, which is basically the niche that I specialize in, right? So I like to look at clinical stage, either biopharmaceutical ones where they're doing clinical research, or medical device ones where they're making things that are relevant. Right, so these last four that I've opened over here, there's a lot of, no, not a lot of, but there's some chatter going on about them in my various resources. Let's see. VINO was another one that was really interesting. VINO, yesterday, I remember, I think 2 days ago, or just yesterday morning, someone was like, oh, there's some news about VINO. And then midday, it just started skyrocketing yesterday. Like, from 5 all the way to 8. That's a huge jump. That's nearly double, right? It's an easy 50% gain. But from the beginning of the day, it did double, from 426 to 835. So 100% gain. It has fallen back down, which at this point it looks like a healthy pullback, if anything. Now we're just gonna have to watch to see where it goes to today. Hoping that it'll break 8 again. That's basically the goal there. Let's see. Torchlight, as always, yeah, people have picked it up. If you're holding it, continue holding it. It's holding pretty well itself. Not really falling below anything dangerous, so that's perfectly fine. I also see GTT. Let's look at GTT. What's happening here? Communications. Okay. Wow, that's from 2 to almost 3. Okay. And I also got to ride ORPH yesterday, the notorious 1000% gainer that just blew up in one day. That was pretty fun. Let me see. Yeah, right here. So yesterday was making some nice little, you see right here, these hills. So it did go from 10 to a higher amount, and I got to ride it a couple times. 23, 23.45 at 500 shares. I first got in, let me see, limit buy right here, 17 to 1750, then again 1773 to 1825, and then 1960 to 20. This one was an unfortunate limit sell that triggered, because after this it actually flew all the way to 23, and then 23 to 24, and then I got it again at 23 and sold at 23.45. So it was definitely flying again. It started trending on Twitter yesterday, which was really strange. Everyone is hoping that it'll do this day one more time, where within a matter of 2 hours it had gone up 1000%, and everyone wants to increase their money 1000%, so why not? So as usual, I've posted the watch list for today right here. So you got APOP, VINO, CTIB, ALF, the artificial intelligence stock. That thing is still bound to keep flying. PTIX, BCTX, and then FAS and MTP we're also going to be watching. So let's continue seeing what's going to happen with them. I'm looking forward. I personally enjoy buying stocks when they're under $5, especially if it's a pharmaceutical one, and then write it up rather than buy a stock at a new high like this guy, for example. I would hesitate to buy it at this price of 430 when it's usually under $4, right? So that's something to consider. What is the price of the stock usually at? Then you start thinking, and this actually has that cup and handle kind of build now. But again, like most of the things that apply to normal stocks, non-biopharmaceutical stocks, don't apply to biopharmaceutical stocks. They're weird. They're different. Like you can't compare a bio stock and like Apple. These two work very different from each other. What was happening this day that it went from 3 to 15? Wow, that's a 5x increase itself. Huh. Let me see what they've been working on. Time to do some research. Absolutely nothing, so no reason for this to really be flying today. It may have been a meme stock chatter. Collect biotechnology. Registration statement in connection with proposed strategic merger. Okay. Alright. Let's see. And then MTP. Breakthrough data on encapsulation of biologic using Q-Sphera. What is that? A new way to basically give people monoclonal antibody treatment. Okay, that's pretty good. Phase 2 will start later this year. So basically, this is who's the MTP. So later this year, they're gonna be doing a lot better. Not sure where this is gonna go today though. Looking at how this is usually a $2 stock, I would rather the news settle down, grab it at $2, ride along. So let's make note of that. Because now there's starting to be too many things to ride later, right? So we've already got AEMD with their human purifier, and I'd like to buy it at around 5. We've got this guy MTP, monoclonal antibody injector. I'd like to buy this around 2. So I'm just writing down like main stocks that I end up having to close at some point every time anyway. And I think yesterday we saw something too. Yesterday we saw APRE. These were the guys that did the P50. Yeah, so this it was another stock I was playing around with yesterday. Last sold everything at 725, right? So what they did is very interesting too. They actually made something that is apparently a P53 reactivator. So P53 is a I guess a program inside reactivator in all of our bodies that kind of helps kill cells that become cancerous. When we lose P53, we end up getting a lot of cancer. And this company has made something that reactivates P53. It's a tumor suppressor, right? So it's supposed to stop anything that becomes cancerous from continuing to develop more cancer. And this is never heard of. I've never heard of anything that reactivates P53. Like if you don't have P53, you just don't have P53. And this is actually the price I would want to buy it at, because it was always a $5 stock. It skyrocketed yesterday based off of some little news, but now it's actually back to $5. So that I'm gonna hit PT hit, because now if it goes a little lower than that, I would just pick it up. That's these three so far, AMD and APRE, have been the most interesting things. You know, with AMD saying they can actually cure COVID, and APRE saying they can theoretically cure cancer. Like, they're no longer using these key terms of treating cancer. They're not just treating it; they're actually curing it. So that's revolutionary. Like, these guys, if what they're making actually ends up being some next level shit, then within a couple years that will be the future. And that looks like a pretty good future where you can cure all these things. I still need to get out of this too. Bought back in because it was still flying. You can see the jumps it's been making, but then it didn't keep flying. So I got it in at a pretty high price because I thought it was going to keep going to 10. Didn't really make it, and then I stopped watching, but I think it's going to come back up anyway. This artificial intelligence, it's like the next thing. I have a limit sell placed already for 825. That's my price target, so I'm not worried there. This should be going pretty soon. Whenever VINO is going upwards. Okay, let's see. What are people playing with right now? Oh, this is interesting. Let's take a look at this article. HE in US gets FDA priority review of maps. Any medication that ends in MAB is a monoclonal antibody, which means that this acts like an antibody and it can go in and kill cancer cells just like antibodies would kill bacteria and stuff. And it works against cervical cancer, which is a problem because this is why we ask women to get pap smears done. Claims the lives of 300,000 women around the world each year. Well, around the world, I would judge them on having a statement about talking about around the world. I mean, pap smears are not regular things around the world either, so of course a lot of women die around the world. Let's just stick to what's happening in the US though. In the US, it's not very common for women to die of cervical cancer because we have screening where we constantly check them and make sure they're okay. Well, either way, let's see what they did. AGE and US. Okay. AGE and US. Crypto still dying, but hopefully we'll be back soon. Alright, this is also in the same range of shit. Let me see. But did it go? Yeah, so it didn't go up too much. That's interesting because it's not really an FDA approval or anything. So, you know, it's up, but not insanely up. I would want to see what happens with these guys as, you know, after news. Of course, they've popped to a new high. I would want to see what happens to them as soon as 930 hits. Try to get a good position in them. Not sure if VINO is gonna fly. This is interesting. After that quote unquote healthy pullback, it does look like it's priming up to go upwards. I'm gonna grab a position here because I don't want to miss the thing it did yesterday. It had multiple moments of scalping too. Like, people could have bought and sold at multiple different stop limit prices that they already had it set, and the third time it just took off. So I'm gonna try to get a position here. I mean, 6 itself would be good, but I'll just take the 603 it's at. Just grab 100 of it, see how that goes. Hopefully after 930, it's gonna do something impressive. That's one position I want to hold. Apria, I'm surprised that it came back so quickly to its usual price range. That's very interesting. P53 reactivator. 487. I mean, would I want to? I would definitely want it. Any cheaper I can get it. 487 would be nice too. It looks like it has the capability of even hitting $4. So I'll hold on right now. Maybe wait to see if it hits 4. APRE with the P53 activator and AEMD with the hemopurifier. Another reason I'm really proud of them is because both things, the P53 reactivator and the hemopurifier, are things you can use to treat other diseases as well, right? So like the hemopurifier from AEMD can possibly be tweaked so that it also helps work with other viral infections, possibly even non-viral bacterial infections and fungal infections. So as long as it's a hemopurifier and it can be tweaked to take things out, it should be able to take things out just fine. You know, cure your blood, purify your blood. And the P53 reactivator, I mean, P53, the lack of P53 causes many kinds of cancers. So that also looks like if it can reactivate P53 in the right people, it can cure all kinds of cancers. So there's that too. Let's see what AMC is doing. Chatter of town. Back to 53. Okay. Back to 53 and pointing up. It did break 63 again this week. I'm gonna grab a pretty nice position in this and just sell it as soon as it, let me see, I'm gonna submit a sell order for it too, because it's looking like it's about to take off even more. I got in, why didn't this fill yet? I did check the box, didn't I? Did I not check the box? Let me see. Fuck the browser. Okay, APOP purchased. That's it, there you go. And then I want to sell APOP. It looks like it might actually make it to 6, so we'll do that. That should be an easy little tiny climb that I'll take. ALZN, MTP APOP. A bunch of alerts coming in from other resources. What is ALZN? Oh yeah, the new guy. This guy just got listed. Literally just got listed. It started at $29 listing. Obviously it was overvaluing itself. Went to 33 and then it just dumped. But it is a neuro related pharmaceutical stock, and with all the major breakthrough that's happening with it's almost there, it's almost at my sell price, go go go, with all the news that's been happening with Alzheimer's treatment, you know, with AVNS and BTX and whatnot, other companies that came up with really good potential actual cures for Alzheimer's. I believe this stock is also holding a, you know, this is a manufacturing pharma stock, so they would be getting some of the business of actually manufacturing some of the stuff. But I would have to look more into them. I would want to play around with them now that they've already done their syncing. This is usually how most IPOs go. You get listed and then you sync. That's pretty technically how this is pretty typical of most listings. So they're definitely in the range of buying. I would never buy an IPO before it's listed, or when it's brand new. Wait for the fall. And there's CVAC and UPST. Let's see, CVAC, CureVac. Oh, okay. So basically, the fall, we're saying that this fall makes it into a buy position. It does. It definitely does. That is a huge fall. Question is, why did it fall? Did it fall in a way where it's going to come back up, or is it just gone now? Because that's a really good fall, because this is usually, it hits $100 multiple times, so that means that it can double any money you put into it at the $50 price. CVAC, what happened to them? Did it just say CVAC New York? Oh, NV, I was about to say. Vaccine disappointment. What disappointment are we talking about here? Only 47% effective, okay. So what are they going to do about it? Let's see if anyone knows. Because it is at such a nice buying price now. It's almost back to its IPO listing price. And they obviously IPO'd themselves and never sank because they knew what they were making was going to be very relevant. And their all-time high was almost $140. Wow, to get listed at 44 and go to 144, that's the type of IPO you want. What is this roulette rubbers? APOP still didn't get 6. So CVAC fell to 50. Roulette rubbers? Question mark. Let's see. We'll find out when we find out what that is. And then the last one I see here, UPST. Is that Upstart? Yeah. 120. Ooh, okay. So this is at a downtrend and maybe coming back up today. Can APOP go off though? There you go, 580. It just needs to hit 6. Just do it. Alright, well, this is outside of the range of things I like to play around with. This also fell. Okay. And I wouldn't mind playing around with VINO. We'll keep an eye on that. Gotta sell this today. Playing around with ORPH or AMC today again. Looks like ORPH is about to hit 16 soon. So close. I'm pretty sure as soon as, one more minute, as soon as it hits 9:30, all the buy and sell orders are going to kick in, and then this should hit 6 at some point and come back down. Hopefully it'll hit 6 before it comes down. But let's see. AMC still looking pretty. pretty sure these guys are going to make it to 60 today too, since it's already pointing upwards. There's really strong hope that this is going to break 375 and then go to 4 and go crazy. But why would it go crazy? Let's see. Why would it go crazy? It's already starting to go upwards. Let's just get a position in it and see what happens. But why would it get crazy? This is MTP. It does have big volume, I can see that. One of my friends just shared the post. But I want to know what they did. What did they do? Oh yeah, we were just looking at it, right? The monocline is about to inject it. The guy that I said I would want to hold a position in at 2 after today. So we'll see about that. APOP pointing down. It is now 9:30. Let the buy orders kick in. Make it to 6. Oh, did it? Oh, I think it already hit 6. There you go. Okay, perfect. It already hit 6. My limit sell went through, and then it came back down. Brilliant. And so I scalped off the 30 cent, 31 cent gain on 1,000 shares right there. Whether or not it's going to keep flying is outside of the question, because this is supposed to be a $3 stock, as you can see. I wouldn't really want to mess around with trying to climb it a couple more times, because it can just suddenly fall, right? So they make regenerative medicines. We didn't get to see what they do. What is it that's making them trend today? Oh, there's just the merger is making them trend today. Why? Who are they merging with? Huoin Pharmaceuticals. I don't know about them. Alright. Yeah, regenerative medicine with stem cells is always nice. So APOP has something that is in a clinical trial right now for bone marrow transplants for curing cancer. That's really impressive. So they really might at some point pop off, as their name suggests. I can see they're popping off right now, going over 6. That's pretty nice. But I got my gain out of it already. Bone marrow. Bone marrow and stem cell. And I would want to buy this at the $3 mark. After today's hype is done, and after that, every stock has a day of hype when it first succeeds. When they're done with that day of hype is when you want to get out. So let's see. Look at that. Good job, AMC. Do your thing. ORPH also doing its thing, right? Already up almost $2 since the morning. This is going to be one of those stocks that you can probably buy every morning and then write it up $1, which is a pretty big amount, rather than writing it up a couple cents, and sell it. Look at that. This is flying. Okay, so now it's going back down. I'm gonna say I'm done with this, so I'll close this out. Something happening with VTNR. Okay, this is a tiny jump up. No big deal. I think I already told you guys though, I'm too sad to play around with VTNR ever since actually personally watching it go from a $2 stock to a $10 stock over a span of 3 days and never having held a position in it. So that was pretty sad. What is Clearside doing now? Another boom today. It's been booming a lot lately. Not going to buy it after the boom, that's for sure. Okay, so for now, for today, the rest of this morning right now, I'm going to be watching AMC and ORPH. Might try to get a position in ORPH. Might try to grab some AMC for the long run. Try to see if I can ride it to 60. I've ridden it to 70 twice and sold it. The last time I sold it was at a tiny loss because it looked like it was dying, and then all of a sudden last week it went back to 60 again, but that would have involved actually having money staying in AMC, and then I wouldn't be able to day trade other things. So that was the only reason I sold. I didn't sell because I didn't believe, but I ended up selling at 48.50, which wasn't a massive loss, but it was, you know, it's a loss either way. I'm still more positive than that loss because I gained more than I lost in the long run. But I might try to grab a position right now as it's coming back down. I would want some position in ORPH also. I think yesterday, I wish I could see a better graph than what this shows, but yesterday it did break 20. So I'll try to submit a limit order, pick it up at 17 flat, just get 100 of it. Yeah, it should fill at 16 something now, 1688. Great. So we'll ride that. I'm going to submit a sell order for this to sell at 20. So at whatever point today, whenever it happens. I'm sure it will happen, so I'm not worried. So I'm just going to submit that in right now. And that'll happen when it happens. Right, and that'll trigger by itself, all good. AMC, I'd like to play around with as well. Not going to pay more than 54 for it right now. Pick up 100. I mean, any less than 100 stocks of this would be useless to pick up. Let's see. Keep going down. 53.5. No. Maybe. Just go down to 53.5. That's all I need. And then fly. Come on. There you go. Fill the order. Fill that order, don't be a bitch. Perfect. So I'll hold this position, wait to sell this at 60 as well. But I'm not going to submit a sell order because when it's flying to 60, this guy might actually be flying to like 62 or something. So every single dollar is going to count there. So I've got my position in AMC, my position in ORPH. Did my thing with APOP already this morning. I'm going to keep watching it anyway just to see how it plays along. And all in all, pretty nice green morning already. So we'll just keep it like that. And I'm going to spend the rest of this morning right now just watching AMC and ORPH. I'm hoping AMC hits 60 by the end of the day today. and I'm hoping at some point, ORPH reaches 20 again at some point today. All right, so that's it for today. Thanks a lot for joining. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.